based on the information we have to date, that there's no imminent threat to public safety. I believe people, and I think we shouldn't tell people they aren't seeing things. I think the key is making sure that we're on top of it, we follow through, and keep it monitored. I think that's the key.
Just now live from Fort Wadsworth in Staten Island. Eileen.
Well, that's right. We heard from a senior FBI official and the White House spokesperson, but we are no closer to any answers tonight. And in fact, in official congressional testimony, the FBI said the agency cannot rule anything out. With a picture of a person being abducted by aliens, the Staten Island Drone Invasion Facebook group is hoping the truth is out there. The admin asking for people to share their, quote, terrifying encounters with the drones. Residents from New Jersey, Staten Island, and Brooklyn all now reporting unidentified flying objects that they believe to be drones.
I think they should tell us what's going on. If it's not dangerous, why can't they?
It comes as the FBI's assistant director of the Critical Response Group testified Tuesday before a House subcommittee on counterterrorism, law enforcement, and intelligence. Robert Wheeler Jr. was asked if public safety is at risk.
There's nothing that is known that would lead me to say that. But we just don't know, and that's the concerning part.
As for who is responsible for the drones?
We do not attribute that to an individual or a group yet. We're investigating, but I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that.
At one point, a congressman from Texas letting loose.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
U.S. Senator Cory Booker also sending this two-page letter to the FBI director and the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, saying in part, I urge you to share any relevant information about these drone sightings with the public. Without transparency, I believe that rumors, fear, and misinformation will continue to spread. The White House spokeswoman also grilled about the drone sightings.
I'm not going to go into what they could be or could not be from here. That is something that obviously is being looked at as those respective agencies that I mentioned.
When was the president briefed on this?
I don't have a timeline, but he certainly has been made aware of this.
And now the FBI has said it wants to see your pictures and videos of those drone sightings. You can upload them at tips.fbi.gov. We are live here on Staten Island. Eileen LaPalmer, Pix 11 News.
So the mystery deepens. Okay, thank you, Eileen.
Welcome back, everybody, to Pix on Politics. And everybody seems to be talking about those mysterious drones, right? Spotted in the skies above New York and New Jersey. Thousands of sightings, but zero explanation. Now the pressure is on government leaders to give concerned citizens some idea of what exactly is happening in the skies. Local officials putting the pressure on the feds to chime in with the reason behind the drones. And so far, they've come up with nothing. Empty-handed. So I want to bring in two of our New Jersey correspondents, Katie Corrado and Jim Vassell, who have been covering this story for weeks now. They've witnessed them themselves. Great to have you both here on Pix on Politics. And I had to say, in full disclosure, I had not seen them until just the other night, and it was a very, very busy night in the sky, and it was bizarre to see because you don't know exactly what it is. Some of them resemble planes, but they're flying in weird patterns. So let me just recap, Katie, with you, because you kind of spotted this first and foremost kind of a couple of weeks ago. You've been speaking to residents about it. Take us back to the very, very beginning and how it kind of evolved over the last couple of weeks.
So it started out with just some sightings over Morris County, I would say about 3 weeks ago. And you go up to the average person on the street and they wouldn't know what you were talking about. Drones, only a few people knew about it. At this point, you can go up to anybody on the street because now the sightings have spread to practically every part of New Jersey. And I think the sentiment is, I have no idea what this is, but I am so sick and tired of not knowing.
Right, and why? And that's the answer, right? When we spoke to the Middletown mayor, who said, "I wish I can give more information." He was involved in a briefing. You've spoken, Jim, to a number of local leaders as well. I want to play some of your interviews, and then we'll talk about it on the back end.
They talked about just the other night, they got 180 sightings of drones. We are literally being invaded by drones, and we have no idea who's doing it and where they're coming from.
We don't know anything, and we're not sure if we ever will know anything, but we've reached out to Homeland Security, and they may give us some stuff. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what the Middletown mayor said too, right? About being involved with this meeting where the FBI, who was leading the investigation, was notably absent from that meeting. But what else came out of that meeting, Jim, that could give people some kind of peace of mind?
Well, really, Dan, not much. I spoke with about probably between 2 and 3 dozen lawmakers and mayors who stepped out of that meeting. One of them told me this meeting could have been an email. Another one told me that they felt like this was the biggest waste of their time. I believe that was Assemblyman Brian Bergen who said that. So they're really frustrated. But I think there was one positive thing, if you could find one positive thing. One of the lawmakers told me that they learned about New Jersey possibly getting help from the federal government, getting more sophisticated radar technology. So I think they came away from the meeting, some of them at least, knowing that maybe we can get some answers.
That sounds great. I don't care about the radar. I want to know what exactly it is and how to get it out of the sky. So here's the question, right? Governor Murphy has sent a letter to the President of the United States asking for what? More federal resources?
Right, and because New Jersey residents deserve more concrete answers.
Right, so that's one thing. So there's a lot of questions that are out there that you hear from I'm sure you've heard many of them from residents, right? Why can't we follow them to where they land? Why can't we shoot it out of the sky? So what else are you hearing?
So the why can't you shoot it out of the sky is because I believe the government, state police are kind of handcuffed in all of this. The most that state police can do is scramble the signal. So if there was a drone that was flying over a Jets or a Giants game at MetLife, state police would have the ability to sort of scramble the signal going to that drone so that it would come back down to earth. State police are saying that they don't have the ability, they can't find a signal for these drones. So state police are kind of handcuffed, and also they don't have the authority to take down a drone.
Yeah, and I spoke with a local police chief in New Jersey who told me that unless they're over restricted airspace or they're over a big crowd of people without prior authorization, they're allowed to be there. They're allowed to do it. You can fly, you can own a drone, and send it up as long as you're doing it the right way.
Yeah, which is what the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security came out and said, that they have no reason to believe that there was anything ill about some of these things that were flying. They were all doing so legally.
Right, and the Pentagon addressed this week. And the Pentagon in a press briefing said they don't believe that these are from, a foreign country or an adversary. So maybe a little bit of peace of mind from that. But again, the mystery is, what are they doing and why are they doing?
And here's what's fascinating. The Middletown mayor said that they have a battery life of 6 to 7 hours and that they're fast, right? So that some of the police drones they fly can't keep up with them as they try to find them. So you spoke to a drone pilot.
Yeah, I spoke to a drone pilot who said these are not commercial drones. He's like, some of these drones are the size of small cars. I wouldn't even know how to transport this drone to my home, even if I wanted to buy it. And he said some of the lights are not really consistent with drones because he said typically they have red and green lights. Some of the ones he's seen have had all green lights. So he's just thoroughly confused by what some of them are, but that they're just too big and the battery's lasting too long. He said, especially in the cold, you might get 45 minutes with one of my drones, and these are, hours.
Is there another meeting or something that's coming up next?
Well, the governor sending a letter to the president would sure maybe put some fire under the White House to at least address the nation in some form. At that Pentagon press briefing I told you about, that was probably about 10 minutes in that the drone question was broached. So let's get out front of this if you're the federal government.
To be continued for sure. Katie and Jim, I know you'll stay on top of it. Keep us posted every step of the way, okay? And follow both of them because they're on this story. The mystery will continue, everybody, and we will be right back.
Curious residents stopping by the Lowe's parking lot in Hillsborough after hearing reports of a downed drone that ended up unfounded.
I was like, you know what? I need to go out there and check it out.
They came by hoping for a morsel of information, anything that can shed light on the sightings.
We're not hearing anything about it, and we wanted to see if it was a drone, what was going on.
David Cheek of Flemington says he's been seeing hovering orbs of light.
I can't describe it because I've never seen it before, so people think you're crazy. And it just sat there, and all of a sudden it just, like, you literally blink and it's gone.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy sent a letter Friday to President Biden asking for more resources from the federal government. Naval Weapons Station Earl in Middletown also confirmed several new sightings in the last 24 hours.
Oh, it creeps me out. It freaks me out, yes.
Congressman Josh Gottheimer wants the feds to allow state and local law enforcement to safely take down the drones. He says he expects further classified briefings next week, but in the meantime,
they must immediately disclose more information to the public.
It's totally and completely unacceptable. The FBI should be standing at a podium of the Department of Homeland Security and briefing the public and explaining to them what these drones are.
All right, Alexa, thank you. 7:32 right now. The drone drama continues as more sightings reported over the weekend across our area. Senator Chuck Schumer calling on the feds to deploy a special detection system to get to the bottom of the sightings.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's a drone. We've seen lots of recent sightings in New York, New Jersey, Long Island, Staten Island. So, it's remarkable, with all these sightings over the last while, why do we have more questions than answers? If the technology exists for a drone to make it up into the sky, there certainly is the technology that can track the craft with precision and determine what the heck is going on.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas confirmed the drone sighting, said the feds are deploying additional resources to help New Jersey law enforcement address that issue. So joining us this morning is Ocean County Sheriff Michael Mastronardi, who's been tracking the sighting since they first began weeks ago. Sheriff, great to have you here. Appreciate you being here to talk about this.
Good morning.
And let's talk about it, because I saw it myself, and it's just a kind of a wild scene out there, because it's not just one or two. I mean, I think I counted 7 at once. But, you know, the feds were casting doubt on the sightings. Now we're hearing something different from the Homeland Security, including this additional resources headed your way, right? So what does that look like? What's the additional resources?
Well, we haven't seen them yet. I mean, I'm sure they're on site with all the attention that's been generated, but, you know, they haven't told the locals, whether it be local police departments or our office. So we'll wait for, you know, this is their lane, so we're trying to stay in our lane. Our line is to try to decipher what's real, what's not real, and documenting, and then share it with our federal partners. So what we do here is we try to confirm things that we believe could be possible drones or objects in the sky. And then we try to convince people, and it's getting difficult sometimes to convince somebody that's a plane going over your house, as we have our radar out there.
But have some of them been drones?
We believe, yes, they have.
But we don't know if they're all connected or if they just could be random owners in the neighborhoods. Right?
This does not appear to be random owners, not at all. These ships are way too big, travel way too fast. You know, we have an active drone program here. We've had it for years. And these things are much bigger than our drones, much more expensive than our drones. So who's ever doing this is not a hobbyist.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine the frustration of folks not knowing what exactly this is. And Governor Phil Murphy, Governor Kathy Hochul, they've been requesting that the feds deploy a special detection system called the Robin. Are you familiar with what that is exactly?
No, but I'm researching it, as well as I'm researching our government doing extensive expenditures out there with various companies to do drone technology. You know, one thing that we feel is that obviously this is generating a lot of interest, so I think this will change. We don't feel the laws have kept up with technology, and it's something that has to be done. You remember before 23, drones couldn't fly at night.
Right.
And now they allow them at night, which is these drones only come out between basically 6 and 11.
Yeah, no, I mean, the sun goes down and they are out. So let me ask you this, Sheriff, because there's so many people, you said you were tracking them, and they don't appear to be a hobbyist, that's because they're larger and everything else. What have you seen, right? And the questions keep coming up for folks of why can't you shoot it out of the sky? Why can't you follow it to where it lands? What's the answer to those two questions in particular?
Well, to follow it is our drones go 40 miles an hour. My officers have recorded these drones going 60, 70 miles an hour, so we're not going to be able to follow it, number one. The other thing is it's illegal. We tell people don't shoot, you have to be responsible. That's what we're trying to calm people down, calm this hysteria down. Let's get the facts. I would hope that the federal government learns that they have to do a little bit better on communication, not only with the citizens, but also with federal legislature, whether it be senators or congressmen. I think they need to keep them in the loop so that we can inform the public what's really happening. Obviously, this is someone with a lot of resources, much more than we have at the local level. And that's why we need some assistance and, again, some information. Listen, we don't need to know top secrets. I don't think that anybody wants that. But we do need to know when somebody just says, don't worry about it. It's a little upsetting, and then try to convince you that what you see is not what you see. So we invite them down, we take a look at what we have, and we just want to document what we have. We know our mission. Our mission is to work with our federal partners who want to do that. But we also want some candid information, not details, just like, hey, this is our project. Don't worry, we got everything under control.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to worry about it when you don't know exactly what it is, right? So how many drones have you actually seen, or sightings have there been in your area, and have they caused any interference, like with local aircraft in New Jersey, like they did on Friday at Stewart Airport?
We have not had that. Unfortunately, over the weekend on Friday night, we did have somebody pointing lasers from the county up at planes. So, there's all different, that has to be something local, nothing to do with this. But we respond with the FAA and try to assist them in any way we can. The fact of the matter is that last night, checking with our officers working the detail, that there were no reports. Yeah. There was one report came into the 911 center in Jackson, I believe.
So, in all your experience, right, what do you think, Sheriff Mastronardi, what do you think is actually happening in the skies over your community that could help kind of calm, you mentioned the word hysteria, right? And that's what happens. It's something like this is talked about so much that people believe that they're actually seeing a bunch more that they're actually seeing. But there is something going on. I saw it firsthand. So what are you telling folks, and what do you believe is actually happening?
Well, as I said, whoever it is has a lot of resources. The concern is that nobody has seen them take off or land. How's that possible? We're a very populated state. It's not like you're in the middle of nowhere. So the fact of the matter, nobody has seen them either come or land is troublesome. But if it's our government that's doing it, they got good technology.
And last we're out of time. There was this idea last week when we had the mayor of Middletown on that there might have been this ship, this mothership off the coast of New Jersey somewhere. Has that been debunked? I mean, you'd be able to find a ship pretty quickly.
Yeah.
When we got the report of 50 drones off of Island Beach last week, the first thing my officers did was take a picture of both the air radar that was occurring and the ship radar. There was one ship, and I want to say it was Honduran. We communicated that over to our federal authorities.
Understood.
Yeah. This is all very surreal. It's like the makings of a movie. Sheriff Mastronardi, thanks so much for taking the time with us this morning.
Thank you.
Hopefully they figure this out real soon.
Keep us posted.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, the House Intelligence Committee is hoping to ease public worries about drone sightings with that meeting. Committee members are echoing statements from the FAA, FBI, and DHS, who all say there's no threat to the public. The House Intelligence Committee questioning federal law enforcement and intelligence officials Tuesday in a closed-door meeting about the mystery drones seen flying over parts of New York and New Jersey in recent weeks. New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer was part of that classified briefing.
The information we have to date, that there's no imminent threat to public safety. I believe people, and I think we shouldn't tell people they aren't seeing things. I think the key is making sure that we're on top of it, we follow through, and keep it monitored. I think that's the key.
Since November, local residents who have spotted drones in the sky, as well as local officials, have demanded answers, wanting to know who's flying them and why. The FBI has issued a warning to concerned spectators not to shoot guns or shine lasers at the drones, as airline pilots are increasingly being hit in the eyes with lasers by people on the ground who mistake the manned aircrafts for a drone. People at Newark Airport reacting.
Well, the whole situation is a little bit distressful. People are afraid, and when they're afraid, they're going to react, and it might not be the best thing because we don't know what we're dealing with. So it's upsetting.
Aviation expert J.P. Tristani says lasers affect planes differently because the cockpits are made with polarized glass. He says the lasers can damage a pilot's vision or worse.
That flare would distract him from reading those instrumentation, whether it be an automatic approach or a manual approach. And what you're going to result in is a crashed aircraft.
And federal authorities said Monday that the reported drone sightings have been identified as illegal commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned aircrafts. We are live outside Newark Airport. Janae Caldwell, Pix 11 News.
We ask this question over and over and over again. They are not federal government operations to sniff radiation, gas, recovery, anything else.
Members of the House Intelligence Committee speaking after 3 hours in a classified briefing about drones.
Based on the information we have to date that there's no imminent threat to public safety. I believe people, and I think we shouldn't tell people they aren't seeing things. I think the key is making sure that we're on top of it, we follow through, and keep it monitored. I think that's the key.
But Belleville Mayor Michael Mellum questions why the briefing had to be classified in the first place.
The fact that they're saying nothing to see here, and yet the very next day having a classified intelligence briefing about it, you can't have it both ways.
The FBI, DHS, and FAA said Monday there is no national security risk or safety risk over civilian airspace and issued a separate warning against shooting at planes or shining lasers at them. Aviation expert J.P. Tristani says lasers affect planes differently because the cockpits are made with polarized glass.
It doesn't just go through the glass, it causes a flare. Consider it like a flashbulb just going off in the cockpit.
It can damage a pilot's vision or worse.
That flare would distract him from reading those instrumentation, whether it be an automatic approach or a manual approach. And what you're going to result in is a crashed aircraft.